guys, it's Marta from Call of the Wild Canine Training, and we are back with daily dog training. Today is number 15. So today I want to talk about toes, and that might be something that will get a bit of heat, but it's very important that we get it out there. So I started off, if you don't know, I have started off with my own, let's say, not great dogs, and I've done lots of positive reinforcement work because basically that's all I found online and in books and so on, and it hasn't worked. So I was getting angry and frustrated because still things didn't work out as I was hoping they would. So then I had to start making different things, starting to find a new way that would actually work. So that's when we got into the whole consequences and no side of things. And then my dogs were getting better, and at that time I was still working mostly with slip leads and martingale collars because that's how I've been taught. So then I have started evolving a little bit more into more tools and how things work. And even by that time, even though I knew that consequences work, that correcting a dog works because I saw this big difference in my dogs, I still had a bit of a judgmental thinking towards other tools until I saw them work. Since then, in basically all of aspects of my life, I try not to judge anything prior to actually seeing it or doing something, because it's not worth it, because we judge something by what other people tell us what it is. So what am I talking about here? So a short story following. Let's talk about prong collars. Prong collars have been designed to be the most or less harmful training tool that there is, the least harmful collar that a dog can wear. If I see a dog walking down the street with a flat buckle collar around the neck and choking itself and not getting any air, that to me is cruel. And a prong collar might look evil, like something you would torture someone with, but it's not. It has been designed to lay nicely up high on the neck where none of the airways can be damaged, so it doesn't choke the dog. It doesn't sting the metal bits in the neck either because they're nicely rounded. So that's up front, but it's an amazing tool. You don't have to manhandle your dogs. That's where the story with the martingale collars comes into now, because with slip leads and martingale collars, even though I use them majority of the times because that's for the New Zealand people here now, it's really hard to get a hold of a prong collar because you can't buy them in the shops. So you can still purchase one, but it's much easier to purchase a slip lead or a martingale collar, even though they're not that great, but they still work, but still. So prong collars doesn't harm the dog. It looks not very great, but yeah, you can teach your dog so many things with it. You can have your dog healing next to you within seconds, and yes, even if your timing is a little bit off, it still works. Well, with a slip lead and a martingale collar, your timing has to be very precise. So in my obedience classes, we work on the timing and body language so much, which all could be avoided with prong collars. So I would love to see them out in New Zealand more, but yeah, so you can get a prong collar again, but you can get your dog to heal within seconds. You can use it on a lot of other things, and instead of having your dog pull you everywhere and damage his airways, you can actually have your dog healing next to you with no manhandling, not much of a pull around and jerking around, and takes seconds. So guys, look at it first before you judge it. And there is a photo out there that a lady took, or someone somewhere online, and she put the prong collar on her arm to show what it looks like. It's like she must have hold the prong collar down onto her arm, because there's no way that a prong collar can do this damage to a dog. If you leave your dog tied up on a prong collar, that's just human failure, and that's just failure of being a dog handler, because you don't do that. It's a training tool. You put it on when you go out on a walk, and then you take it off. But back to the lady. So just pushing it against your arm until it shows mark, and then saying, this is what happens, that's very wrong and unjust and just not very fair, because I don't go around judging people who can't use a clicker properly. So, like, yes, the prong collar sits snug on the neck because we don't want it sliding up and down like all the other collars do. We want it to stay in place. And when it tightens up, it only tightens up so much, so there's no way that there's always constant pressure on it. So you imagine like a hairbrush. You brush your hair with it, you don't hold the brush against your hair until it hurts, and then, oh, well, I don't like brushing my hair because it hurt me. It's like, that's not how it works. So imagine if I would hold a hairbrush to my neck just so it touches it, and then for a quarter of a second hold it on and then let go. Nothing would happen. Like, of course, if you hold the hairbrush, that's just to sort of make an example of the prongs. And if you would hold it to your neck for a minute, then yes, it would leave marks, because you just held a metal object with spiky bits onto your neck. So that's what's gonna happen, but that's not how it works. It lies on the neck, and then a bit of pressure comes off. It doesn't sit there poking into the neck. That's not how it works. So really read also into the story of why it was invented, because it's really cool. And remembering back to my childhood, they were everywhere around, and I as a kid was walking big dogs because they knew what it was, where now adults can't walk their dogs. They get pulled around down the street. Anyway, tomorrow we're actually going to talk about e-collars next, so looking forward to number 16 tomorrow.